남규태방송 시청자 여러분 안녕하십니까? 오늘은 2023년 4월 18일 화요일입니다. 현재 시간은 오후 5시 20분입니다. 남규태방송 성경공부 영문 430회 방송을 시작하겠습니다. 성경은 창세기 19장입니다. 영문으로 읽겠습니다. The two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. My Lord, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night and then go on your way early in the morning. Not, they answered, we will spend the night in the square. But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, old men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them. Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, "No, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have two daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you like with them. But don't do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof. Get out of our way," they replied, and they said, "This fellow came here as an online, and now he went to play the George. We'll treat you worse than them." They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. But the man inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door about the house, young and old, with blindness, so that they could not find the door. The two men said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here. Sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you, get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it. So Lord went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city. But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished. When he hesitated, the man grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and of his two daughters and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Flee for your lives, don't look back, and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Pray to the mountains, or you will be swept away." But Lord said to them, "No, my Lord, please, your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me, and I'll die. Look, here is a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be so spared." He said to him, "Very well, I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it." That is why the town was called Jor. By the time Lot reached Jor, the sun had rised over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, including all those living in the cities, and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, toward all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoking rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. Lot and his two daughters left Jor and settled in the mountains, for he was afraid to stay in Jor. He and his two daughters lived in a cave. One day the older daughter said to the younger, our father is old, and there is no man around here to lie with us, as is the custom all over the earth. Let's get out, father, to drink wine, and then lie with him and preserve our family line through our father. That night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and lay with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. The next day, the older daughter said to the younger, last night I lay with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again together. And you go in and lie with him so we can preserve our family line through our father. So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went to and lay with him again. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son, and she named him Moab. He is the father of the Moabites of today. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him Ben Ami. He is the father of the Ammonites of today. Now Abraham moved on from there into the region of the Negev and lived between Kadesh and Shur. For a while he stayed in Gerar, and there Abraham said of his wife Sarah, she is my sister. Then Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. But God came to Abimelech in a dream one night and said to him, "You are as good as did because of the woman you have taken. She is a married woman." Now Abimelech had not gone near her, so he said, "Lord, will you destroy a innocent nation?" Did he not say to me, "She is my sister," and didn't she also say, "He is my brother"? I have done this with clear conscience and a dream hence. Then God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know you did this with a clear conscience, and so I have kept you from sinning, signing against me. That is why I did not let you touch her. Now return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not return her, you may be sure that you and all yours will die." Early the next morning, Abimelech summoned all his officials, and when he told them all that had happened, they were very much afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham in and said, "What have you done to us? How have I longed you? Then you have brought such great guilt upon me and my kingdom. You have done things to me that should not be done." And Abimelech asked Abraham, "What was your reason for doing this?" Abraham replied, "I said to myself, there is surely no fear of God in this race, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father through not of my mother." And she became my wife. And when God had me water from my father's household, I said to her, "This is how you can show your love to me. Everywhere we go, say of me, 'He is my brother.'" Then Abimelech brought sheep and cattle and male and female slaves, and gave them to Abraham, and be returned Sarah, his wife, to him. And Abimelech said, "My land is before you. Live wherever you live." To Sarah, he said, "I am giving your brother 1,000 shekels of silver. This is to cover the offense against you people all who are with you. You are completely vindicated." Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his slave girls. so they could have children again. For the Lord had closed every bomb in Abimelech's household because of Abraham's wife Sarah. Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant, and bore a son to Abraham in his old age. At the very time God had promised him, Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah bore him. When his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him as God commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Sarah said, God has brought me a daughter, and everyone who hears about this will love with me. And she added, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children's? Yes, yet I have borne him a son in his old age. The child grew and was weaned, and on the day Isaac was weaned, Abraham held a great feast. But Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar, the Egyptian, had born to Abraham was mocking. And she said to Abraham, get rid of the slave woman and her son, for the slave woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, do not be so distressed about the boy and your maidservant. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the maidservant into a nation also, because he is your offspring. Early the next morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave them to Hagar. He set them on her shoulders and then sent her off with the boy. She went on her way and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Then she went up and get down nearby, about the bull's away, for she threw. She thought, I cannot watch the boy die. And as she sat there nearby, she began to soap. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What is the matter, Hagar? Go, do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation." Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy as he grew up. He arrived in the desert and became an altar. While he was arriving in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. At that time, Abimelech and Picor, the commander of his force, said to Abraham, "God is with you in everything you do. Now swear to me here before God that you will not deal partially with me or my children or my descendants. Show to me and the country where you are arriving as an line the same kindness I have shown to you." Abraham said, "I swear it." Then Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servant had seized. But Abimelech said, "I don't know who has done this. You did not tell me, and I heard about it only today." So Abraham brought sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and two men made a treaty. Abraham said, "About 7 rams, 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 rams from the flock." And Abimelech asked Abraham, "What is the meaning of these 7 . 'You, your lambs you have set apart by themselves. He replied, accept these 7 lambs from my hand as a witness that I dug this well. So the place was called Beer Sheba because the 2 men so were on oath there. After the treaty had been made at Beer Sheba, Abimelech and Pichol, the commander of his forces, returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted tamarisk tree in Beer Sheba, and there he called upon the name of the Lord, the eternal God. And Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines in the Philistines for a long time. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham, here I am. I replied. Then God said, take your son, your only one, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him. There is a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will tell you about. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and saddled his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship and then we will come back to you. Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the 2 of them went on together, Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, Father, yes, my son. Abraham replied, the fire and wood are here. Isaac said, but where is the lamp for the burnt offering? Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamp for the burnt offering, my son. And the 2 of them went on together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then He reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham, here I am. He replied, do not lay a hand on the boy. He said, do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Abraham looked up, and there were in a thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place the Lord will provide. And to this day it is said, on the mountain of the Lord it will be provided. The angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven a second time and said, I swear by myself, declared the Lord, that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed me. Then Abraham returned to his servants, and they set off together for Beersheba, and Abraham stayed in Beersheba. Sometime later, Abraham was told, Milcah is also a mother. She had born sons to your brother Nahor. Was the firstborn, was his brother Kemuel, the father of Aram. Kesed, Hejo, Pildashi, Jidreph, and Beshuel. Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. Milcah bore these 8 sons to Abraham's brother Nahor. His concubine, whose name was Reuma also had sons, Teba, Gaham, Tahashi, and Maga. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died at Kirias Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and Abraham went to Mount for Sarah and to weep over her. Then Abraham rose from beside his dead. Wife and spoke to the Hittites. He said, I am a lion and a stranger among you. Share me some property for a burial site here so I can bury my dead. The Hittites replied to Abraham, Sir, listen to us. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your deed in the choicest of our tombs. None of us will refuse you his tomb for burying your dead. Then Abraham rose and bowed down before the people of the land. The Hittites, he said to them, if you are willing to let me bury my deed, then listen to me and intercede with Hebron, son of Joha, on my behalf. So he will share me the cave of Mocha Perha. Macpella, which belongs to him and is at the end of his field. Ask him to sell it to me for the full price as a burial site among you. Hebron, the Hittite was sitting among his people, and he replied to Abraham in the hearing of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of his city. No, my Lord, he said, listen to me. I give you the field and I give you the cave that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of my people. Bury your deed. Again, Abraham bowed down before the people of the land, and he said to Ephron in their hearing, listen to me. If you will, I will pay the price of the field. Accept it from me so I can bury my deed there. Ephron answered Abraham, listen to me, my Lord, the land is worth 400 shekels of silver, but what is that between me and you? Bury your deed. Abraham agreed to Ephron's terms and waited offer him the price he had named. In the hearing of the Hittites for 100 shekels of silver, according to the weight current among the merchants. So Ephron's field in Machpelah near Mamre, Beth, the field and the cave in it, and all the trees within the borders of the field was deeded to Abraham as his property in the presence of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of the city. Afterward, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre, which is at Hebron in the land of Canaan. So the field and the cave in it were deeded to Abraham by the Hittites as a burial site. Abraham was now old and well advanced in years, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. He said to the shepherd, a servant in his household, the one in charge of all that he had, put your hand under my side. I want you to swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I am living, but will you go to my country and my own relatives and get a wife for my son Isaac? The servant asked him, what if the woman lands? Shall I then take your son back to the country you came from? Make sure that you do not take my son back there. Abraham said, the Lord, the God of heaven, who brought me out of my father's household and my nation land, and who spoke to me and promised me on oath, saying, to your offspring I will give this land. He will send his angel before you so that you can get a wife for my son from there. If the woman is unwilling to come back with you, then you will be released from this oath of mine. Only do not take my son back there. So the servant put his hand under the side of his master Abraham and swear an oath to him concerning this matter. Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and left, taking with him any kinds of good things from his master. He set out for Aram Naharaim and made his way to the town of Nahar. He had the camels down near the well outside the town. It was toward the evening the time the woman go out to draw water. Then he prayed, "O Lord, God of my master Abraham, give me success today and show kindness to my master Abraham. I am standing beside this spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. May it be that when I stay to a girl, please let down your jar that I may have a drink." And she said, "Drink, and I will water your camels too. Let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master." Before he had finished praying, Rebecca came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bezur, son of Milcah, who was the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor. The girl was very beautiful, a virgin. No man had ever lain with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again. The servant hurried to meet her and said, "Please give me a little water from your jar." "Drink, my lord," she said, and quickly rolled the jar to her hands and gave him a drink. After she had given him a drink, she said, "I'll draw water for your camels too, until they have finished drinking." So she quickly empties her jar into the through ran back to the well to draw more water and draw enough for all his camels. Without saying a word, the man watched her closely to learn whether or not the road had made his journey successful. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took out a gold nose ring, weighing a Becca, and two gold bracelets weighing 10 shekels. Then he asked, "Whose daughter are you? Please tell me, is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night?" She answered him, "I am the daughter of Bezor, the son that Michael bore to Noah." And she added, we have plenty of straw and fodder, as well as room for you to spend the night. Then the man bowed down and worshipped the Lord, saying, Praise be to the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness to my master. As for me, the Lord has led me on the journey to the house of my master's relatives. The girl ran and told her mother's household about these things. And now Rebecca had a brother named Laban, and he headed out to the man at the spring. As soon as he had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's arms, and had heard Rebecca tell what the man said to her, he went out to the man and found him standing by the camels near the spring. Come, you who are blessed by the Lord, he said, why are you standing out here? I have prepared the house and a place for the camels. So the man went to the house, and the camels were unloaded. Straw and fodder were brought for the camels, and water for me and his men to wash their feet. Then food was set before him, but he said, I will not eat until I have told you what I have to say. Then tell us, Laban said. So he said, I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has blessed my master abundantly, and he has become wealthy. He has given his sheep and cattle, silver and gold, manservants and maidservants and camels and donkeys. My master's wife Sarah has borne him a son in her old age, and he has given him everything he owns. And my master made me swear an oath and said, you must not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I live, but go to my father's family and to my own clan and get a wife for my son. Then I asked my master, what if the woman will not come back with me? He replied, the Lord before whom I have worked will send his angel with you and make your journey successor. So then you can get a wife for my son from my own clan and from my father's family. Then when you go to the clan, you will be released from my oath, even if they refuse to give her to you. You will be released from my oath. When I came to the spring to get day, I said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, if you will, please grant success to the journey on which I have come. See, I am standing beside this spring. If a maiden comes out to draw water, and I say to her, please let me drink a little water from your jar. And if she says to me, drink, and I'll draw water for your camels too. Let her be the one the Lord has chosen for my master's son. Before I finished praying in my heart, Rebecca came out with her jar on her shoulder. She went down to the spring and drew water, and I said to her, please give me a drink. She quickly lowered her jar from her shoulder and said, drink, and I will water your camels too. So I drank, and she watered the camels also. I asked her, whose daughter are you? She said, the daughter of Bishul, son of Noah, whom Milcah bore to him. Then I put the ring in her nose and the bracelets on her arms, and I bowed down and worshipped Lord. I prayed the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me on the right road to get the granddaughter of my master's brother for his son. Now, if you will show kindness and faithfulness to my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, so I may know which way to turn. Laban and Beduel answered, this is from the Lord. We can say nothing to you one way or the other. Here is Rebecca. Take her and go, and let her become the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has directed. When Abraham's servant heard what they said, he bowed down to the ground before the Lord. Then the servant brought out gold and silver jewelry and articles of clothing, and gave them to Rebecca. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and to her mother. Then he had the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night there. When they got up the next morning, he said, send me on my way to my master. But her brother and her mother replied, let the girl remain with us 10 days or so, then you may go. But he said to them, do not detain me. Now that the Lord has granted success to my journey, send me on my way so I may go to my master. Then they said, let's call the girl and ask her about it. So they called Rebecca and asked her, will you go with this man? I will go, she said. So they sent their sister Rebecca on her way, along with her nurse and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebecca and said to her, our sister, may you increase to thousands upon thousands. May you offspring possess the gates of their inner might. Then Rebecca and her maids got ready and mounted their camels and went back with the men. So the servant took Rebecca and left. Now Isaac had come from Beer Lahai Roi, for he was arriving in the Negev. He went out to the field on evening to meditate, and as he looked up, he saw camels approaching. Rebecca also looked up and saw Isaac. She got down from her camel and asked the servant, who is that man in the field coming to meet us? He is my master, the servant answered. So she took her veil and covered herself. Then the servant told Isaac all he had done. Isaac brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he married Rebecca. So she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. 성경공부 430회 방송을 여기까지 하고 종료하도록 하겠습니다. 성경은 창세기 24장까지 읽어보았습니다. 제네시스 24까지 읽었습니다. 두 기도문 기도하고 방송을 끝내겠습니다. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. 아멘. 남규태방송 시청해 주신 분께 감사드리겠습니다. 다음 방송에서 다시 찾아뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계십시오.